U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is in the process of adopting regulations that will help provide protection to more wetlands, small vernal ponds, and streams. Right now, those waterways are vulnerable to development and other man-made threats. Besides providing important habitat for wildlife, they also provide an abundant supply of clean water many small and large businesses depend on. Without the water, these businesses and the millions of jobs they provide across the country would be lost. The Honeybrook Organic Farm in Chesterfield, New Jersey is a good example. A small pond is the source of water for the lettuce, tomatoes, and other vegetables they grow here.
Well, the importance of clean water can't be overestimated. Being that we're vegetable farmers and we're growing produce for human consumption, our primary concern is that the water be clean for irrigation purposes. We have concerns about E. coli possibly making it into the water of our pond, which we use for irrigation. So if the water is clean and we irrigate with that water, then we don't have to worry about E. coli contamination of crops that are being grown for people to enjoy.
This farm's owners have taken other steps to protect their water supply.
So this is an example of one of our waterways. So the object of a waterway is to have water with soil particulates that is running off the farm during rain events. You want that to be captured so it doesn't go into our creek, which is only about 40 feet from where I'm standing. So if we were to have had a significant water event, you would now see much more water in the waterway kind of percolating back into the soil and preventing it from becoming a water quality problem in our stream. Our stream feeds our pond, so it's really important that the stream stay as clean as it can in order to assure that our irrigation water is going to be as clean as it can be. One of the reasons why we're irrigating now, our spring has been a little bit dry, so without the irrigation, these plants would just wither, which is what's happening in some fields in California right now. California is showing us a real lesson as to why precipitation is important, of course, but in those lean times when you're not having any rain events, you have to have clean water to irrigate with or you don't have a business.
At the Eminence Road Winery in Long Eddy, New York, they are checking how the grapes are growing on the vines this spring. Jennifer Clark and her husband operate a natural winery.
Which for us means that we don't add yeast to the wine or to the grapes to encourage fermentation. We let the native yeast in the air take care of the fermentation. We don't add anything at all except for a little bit of sulfites just before bottling. We have spring water, so we didn't even have to build a well. And most importantly, there's no chlorine, there's no additive chemicals that you would find in other water supplies, which is essential in cleaning our equipment because we are very conscientious about being as gentle as possible.
Development is also a threat to their water supply and their livelihood.
If it stays similar to what it is now, we shouldn't have any problems. If we do have a lot of development coming in, yes, we would certainly be worried. We have a lot of vernal ponds here that we know are so important to keeping the wildlife and keeping the whole ecosystem healthy.
Gary Moss is a fly fishing guide on the Delaware River.
I've been guiding for a good 30 years now.
Between licenses, guide services, and other related businesses, estimates show fishing in the 4 Delaware River Basin states generates more than $100 million in revenue each year.
The money that you spend for your fishing gear also goes to help preserve fish and their habitat and wildlife. So there's a great economic benefit to it. From the time you get up in the morning getting ready for your fishing trip till it ends during the day, I mean, you're helping the economy and the wildlife and fisheries.
Moss says he sees the impact of wetlands destruction downstream.
A lot of development brings silt into the river, silt and dirt, and when the silt settles, you don't have good aquatic wildlife as far as plant growth, insects, all the way up the chain. Mostly what I notice is after you get a rainstorm, the river gets muddy real quick. So I know that's a lot of runoff, you know, from development, and then it takes, goodness, a couple days, at least a week or so for it to get clear again.
They're getting ready for the summer season at Bucks County River Country. It's one of 20 operators along the Delaware River that offer tubing, rafting, canoeing, and kayaking trips.
Been doing it for 48 years. I mean, I would guess that we entertain anywhere from 50 to 70,000 people every summer.
Outdoor boating of all types generates hundreds of billions of dollars nationwide each year.
99.9% of the people that come back absolutely enjoyed their trip. And I'm sure it has a lot to do with the quality of the water. I'm not saying that that's the reason why they say that their trip is was enjoyable, but yes, it's got to have a lot to do with it. I mean, you can see 3 feet. It's almost like the Caribbean.
Development along the tributaries has an impact here.
Comes and eventually hits the river, and you can see the river turn to this really nice looking green color to like a chocolate milk. Is it dangerous? No, but it's not certainly something that the people are coming to see. They want to see the clear green water.
But the EPA efforts to close the loophole and protect important wetlands and small ponds from development may get stopped in Congress. The House of Representatives has approved a bill requiring the agency to withdraw the regulation. Please call your U.S. Senator and urge them to vote against the bill if it's posted for a vote.